Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back here with another video. Do you see any resemblance between me and this guy here, this Minions guy? Um, anyway, well, wherever you are, I probably should find a different intro one day. But anyway, obviously this is part 4 of, I hope I put the right title in. Sometimes I forget to put what number it is. But anyway, yeah, so this is part 4, obviously, of Dyslexia Fridays. So I hope people with dyslexia and their supporters and allies and whatever, families and whatnot, enjoy these videos and share it amongst each other. And I just wanted to have a follow-on from my last video, part 3. Unfortunately, I was feeling a bit guilty and feeling a bit bad because, as I mentioned in that video, by the way, I just want to say, just while I remember, sorry if there's a bit of a noise in the background. This laptop's a bit old, so I don't know if I'm going to get a new one or not, but I hope it doesn't pack up on me. But it does the job, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to make videos. But I hope you can hear me clearly. I know that it does have a bit of an echo, or the fan or something is making a noise or something like that. But so sorry about that background sound. But yeah, I was thinking like today I wanted it to be about rewards because it's 27th, and like the number 27 makes me think of rewards. But yeah, I feel really bad about losing my temper and all that kind of thing. And I was trying to explain about the doors. We've had special doors made because when we had a dog, unfortunately passed away in January. I know I mentioned that before, but for those who might not have seen that video or those videos, he was very smart. He could open and close a lot of the doors. So my mum's ex-partner fixed us some doors that meant that you could close them without him opening them or something like that. And then unfortunately they're slow release, so they take a while to close. So my cat's too quick, the kitten's too quick. So I do love him, but he is a pain in the neck because he jumps on the surface and tries to eat all the food and things like that. He does a lot of annoying things, makes so much noise and tries to me and bite me and stuff like that. But anyway, I just thought I'd say that as a side note. But as I often try and do, getting back to the topic, sorry, I'm hoping to be positive and all that kind of thing. But as I often try and do, and these videos are about having a vivid image of dyslexia, so I probably shouldn't talk too much about myself, but it's more about dyslexia generally, or dyslexics generally, or both. But these videos are trying to a way I try and have a positive take on dyslexia. So I hope they do inspire people. And I thought I'd do something different for this one, as I often do, which is ask them in the phrase of a question, or maybe talk about how I dream for things to work out. So some of that or both of those things. But yeah, so as I say, these are, well, as I say, I haven't said it yet. These are ideas number 31 to 40. So as I say, I hope people out there with dyslexia enjoy these videos. And as ever, I'd love to read any comments people have. Even people who don't know about dyslexia, I feel like, oh, that's quite interesting. I never knew that. So as it's Friday, maybe if I was more organised, I'd perhaps talk about some facts about dyslexia. But anyway, here goes. So number 31. Do you know any facts about it? On that note, as it's Facts Friday, and do these videos inspire you? That's another question I'd like to ask. So I suppose that's two questions in one. So number 31 is, do these videos inspire you, and can you think of any facts that you would like to share about dyslexia? I know I've shared some of those facts before, but apparently in the UK, there's 20% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic, and in America it's 35%. So I think it'd be cool for people in developing nations to learn about those facts, because they might think that in countries like Nigeria or Cameroon or other parts of Africa and Asia and places like that, even like places like China and India, where their economies are growing, and many African countries' economies are growing as well. But maybe they might think, even though our economies are doing really well and competing with Western nations and things like that, our economies could grow even faster if we utilize the strengths of dyslexia. Many organizations are now realizing there's strengths to do with dyslexia. For instance, spy agencies here in the UK are utilizing the strengths of dyslexics apparently to solve potential threats, and many of my fellow dyslexics keep Britain safe. So another question I suppose I could ask, talking about turning negatives into positives perhaps, is do you think Asian and African nations could benefit from the strengths of dyslexia? Do you think that if countries like China and India utilize the strengths of dyslexics, the unique strengths rather than just looking at the academic strengths? Do you think that their economies would grow even faster if they encourage dyslexics like to achieve their potential and get into business and things like that? I wonder if you think that they would do even better. Number 32. If I'm thinking about my dreams as well, I would love to get as many of these projects put into practice as quickly as possible. I'd love to know if you would be interested in the idea of a dyslexic network. So I'd love for dyslexics out there to tell me if you would be interested in networking with other dyslexics and you think you could benefit from doing so. I think that would be interesting to find out how many people would be interested in being part of an international dyslexia network, so we can network, share ideas together and things like that. Number 33, do you think that it would be a good idea to have what I call a portfolio, or in other words, an investment network, portfolio, whatever word you want to use, committee, think tank, collaborative, cooperative, or whatever you want to call it. I like the name portfolio, so I'm using that one. But yeah, any of those terms I'm happy with. Like, I think collaborative would be quite an interesting name, or cooperative, as we cooperate together. But maybe, yeah, I think portfolio would probably be my favorite word to describe it. So an investment portfolio. I'd love to call it the M.K.S. Dyslexic Investment Portfolio, as I would be the one who founded it, perhaps, or came up with the idea at least. But I'd love for Charles Schwab, as I mentioned before, and people like Richard Branson, dyslexic billionaires, and in some cases mere millionaires. I'm just kidding. But on a serious note, I'd love for them to look at how they can reinvest dyslexic people's money together and make it grow, basically, make our money work for us, so that our money makes more money, if you know what I mean. So it multiplies itself, so that we have that FU money to give us the freedom, or potential FU money, as I say. So if a dyslexic person can't get a job, they don't have to worry about it too much financially. Or if a dyslexic person is worried about losing their job, again, they don't have to worry too much. Or if a dyslexic person is in a job they don't like, they can quit it if they want to. And I suppose depending on how your employer treats you, let's say you just don't want to work anymore, whatever, you've got investments. Maybe I'm being naive, I don't know, but I'd love to know if you think that could work, I suppose. But maybe even if your boss treated you well, but you just want to quit, you could give him or her notice, and say you just want to move on to do something else or whatever. But you'd have that option, or you could take a risk and invest in a business, perhaps. Again, maybe I'm making it too simple. I don't know if it would be workable, but I'd love to know if you think it would be workable. But again, maybe if your boss doesn't treat you so well, you can quiet quit on them, so you don't even tell them, because you think you're just treating them like they treated you, basically, which I think is a fair deal. Number 34, do you think dyslexics can change the world for the better? And also, have you heard of any famous dyslexics, and which ones inspire you the most? I'd love to take this opportunity to encourage people to check out on Google and on YouTube, like any lists of famous dyslexics. There are some in list form, like typed up, and there are some in video form, but they're quite simple lists to read. I think they're quite interesting in different fields. Like some of them are film stars, producers, directors, business people, entrepreneurs, whichever term you want to use. I use those terms interchangeably. But there are dyslexics in all sorts of different fields, politics, even dyslexic authors, and all sorts. So I'd love to know which ones inspire you the most. And I suppose some people might say it's not necessarily famous ones. It might just be a dyslexic person who inspires you. And I'd love to know if famous people do inspire you, if they share something in common, that famous dyslexics do inspire you or not. Some people might not be inspired by them, but many may well be. Number 35, what do you think are some good goals for dyslexics to aim towards, or what do you think dyslexics could achieve? I think it'd be interesting to see, like, if we had that portfolio investing, it'd be interesting to see what we could achieve and what we could create. I'd love to raise the profile of dyslexics projects, which is one of the things I want to do on my channel, on my YouTube channel, and possibly Facebook if I can as well, is like find a way to interview dyslexics and hopefully record the videos and let them share any information they want to towards a mutual benefit for all possible dyslexic people, obviously, including myself. Um, number 36, would you be interested in the idea of traveling with a group of dyslexics to Italy and sharing ideas about football, what we could do as a community to benefit Italian football, soccer for any Americans out there? And have you heard of any famous dyslexic footballers or sports stars, especially athletes or whatnot? I'd love to know if you have any list of those as well. But yeah, I'd love to know if people would be interested and how many people would be interested in traveling to Italy and sharing ideas about football, and how we could benefit as a community, even if it's things like investing in or donating to Italian football teams or sharing creative ideas. Could I get any dyslexic people who are not into football? Number 37, same for Celtic. I'd love to know if you'd be interested in travelling to support Celtic FC with our ideas, support them financially or in whatever ways we can. Obviously, I'm focusing mainly on football because that's my proper football, as I would call it. Sorry for any Americans out there, no offence intended, but I class that as proper football, what you guys call soccer. I call it proper football, but gotta be careful what I say. I don't want to offend any Americans or Yanks out there. But I'd love to know if you'd be interested in that kind of thing, like traveling together. Number 38, do these videos inspire you and motivate and encourage you? And how do you think I can inspire dyslexics more? And what ideas do you think, or what things do you think could inspire dyslexics more? Just generally, what could people do to inspire dyslexics? What could companies do and things like that? Number 39, would you be interested in traveling to developing nations and so-called former colonies and talking about what we could do to support them? And how do you think we can encourage dyslexic individuals and also Made by Dyslexia, Dyslexic Advantage, and all those other groups I talked about previously to go to those countries and support them? I'd love to work with the Festival of Dyslexic Culture. I nearly forgot that one. Talking about sticking to alliterations as it's a Friday, to talk about what we could, how we could work together to support dyslexic projects. And I'd love to be able to get involved with this Festival of Dyslexic Culture as soon as possible and as often as possible. And number 40, please check out I suppose it's not really a question. Well, I suppose I could say, will you please check out the Faces of Dyslexia group on Facebook or online generally, and also, as I say, famous dyslexics. And please let me know which one or ones inspire you the most. I have a terrible feeling I forgot something because I normally do, but I'm going to leave it at this. I'm not sure if my favourite idea is the one about football, because I'm a huge fan of Italian football or Celtic, or supporting people in developing nations or former colonies, or about the general investment. I think those are probably all equally important to me. The Italian football one from a selfish point of view, and maybe the Celtic one to an extent from a selfish point of view, but supporting developing nations and former colonies, I suppose you could say, is more important. It's looking at how dyslexic people could tackle poverty and things like that as well, and help those nations to develop their economies. Again, that would tackle poverty. And I suppose the investment thing, being global, would be pretty cool as well. But I'm not sure which one of those are my favourite ideas. I think it's probably one of those, if not all 3 or 4 of those, are probably equally favourable for me, equally my favourite ideas. But I'd love to know which ones were your least or most favourite ideas. Maybe you could list them like 10 being the worst and 1 being the best, and go in like 10 to 1, or vice versa. I know I talked about ideas number 31 to 40, but for this video you might put it in that order, or whatever, however you want to do it. But anyway, I hope you have a great time wherever you are, and peace and love.